If you've seen my video about debt, you'll know my financial situation. I'm not rich. This isn't a millionaire story. Yes, I'm on a beach right now and it looks like an attractive place, and it is, but I don't have much money at all. In fact, I live in a van and I've only got about £20,000 behind me. And the reason that I'm sharing that with you guys is because a lot of people, and perhaps even you watching this, are actually in a significantly better financial position than I am. And it's exactly the same with the people that I worked with. But the biggest difference between me and potentially you, if that is you, or me and the people that I worked with, they have monstrous overheads. And because they have monstrous overheads, they have to earn a monstrous wage to pay for those overheads. And the big difference between me and them, I have hardly any overheads. So although I don't have that much money, I have more than enough money to sustain my lifestyle that I'm living now. And ultimately, this is a lifestyle of freedom. And I set out to build this van whilst I lived in it in London. I lived on a church ground. I was paying £150 a month rent. My total outgoings worked out to be about £230 per month. I saved as much as I could. And then as soon as I had enough money to leave the system, to stop trading all of these hours, I left and I started traveling the world. And I want to share this with you guys because hopefully it makes you realize what's important in life, and it makes you think a little bit further as, do you actually need this high paid job, or do you want to work your way up the ladder so you can buy a bigger house, a better car, nicer clothes? And also, who are you doing this for? Are you doing this for yourself? Truly, are you doing this for yourself? Because if you were like me in the past, and I believe most people are, when they're engulfed in this materialistic world, if you actually take a step back and think about this, I don't think that you're actually doing this for yourself at all. You're probably doing it for other people. And this big house, do you really need more bedrooms? Do you really need a faster car? Do you need nicer clothes? Are you trying to look cool for yourself? Or are you just trying to look cool for others? I had businesses before I was in the property investment game, and I had loans on cars and this kind of stuff. It was ridiculous. I was spending more than I was even making, let alone what I was making. And that wasn't for me, because I know that if for a long time I wanted a Ferrari, and that was my number one goal. And you know, the ridiculous thing is, I know that if every single person on planet Earth disappeared tomorrow and I had my Ferrari, I'd probably spend an hour driving round for a little bit of fun. I'd realise that there's no one to look cool in front of, and then I'd come back to this very beach and I'd go for a swim in the sea. And you know what? That doesn't cost me any money. And this is what I've realised now that I'm living this lifestyle in my van with not much money. You can't really put a price on freedom. And the things that you really do enjoy doing, or that you actually want to do, or that other people that you love or your family truly appreciate in you and from you, they don't cost money. I was actually doing some calculations and I was looking. The average wage at the moment in the UK works out to be £35,000, and that's for a full-time worker. So that's a minimum of 40 hours a week. Most people are working 50 hours a week, let's face it. So if you go on holiday just twice a year, 2 weeks, in a year you're trading 2,000 hours of your time at your job. Now, if you look at rent and what you're paying on rent, at the moment, the average deposit that you need to get a mortgage is £50,000 in the UK. And I'm sure it's pretty similar across the Western world to what you actually need to accomplish to get a mortgage. Now, if you take the average wage of £35,000, and I know average does not mean that most people are earning that, because most people are earning less, because you've got the top earners in that as well, and it brings it down to a medium average of £35,000. But even if you are one of those people that's earning £35,000 in a year, after tax you're earning about £28,000. Now, if you're paying £1,000 a month on rent and for your bills, gas, electric, whatever it is, and don't get me wrong, again, that's being kind. I lived in London. £1,000 a month would literally get you one bedroom in a shared flat And more than likely, that wouldn't be in the nicest of place. I know that because I lived in an absolute shithole with one of my bedrooms, and that was costing me £750 a month without bills. And that was a tiny little bedroom in Mile End. So you look at that and you do the maths and you do the calculations and you think, okay, so an average worker's earning £35,000 a year, £20,000 after tax. They're paying £12,000 a month on rent, being kind. That leaves you with £16,000. If you're paying just £500 a month on food, you've got £10,000 left. If they're saying that the average deposit that you need for a house is £50,000, that will take you 5 years of trading 2,000 hours per year just to save for a deposit for a house. And do you know what happens then? Then, if you can achieve that, you're lucky enough to qualify for a mortgage that they're going to trap you in for 25 years, if you're lucky. And most mortgages are 35 to 40 years now. It's crazy. Do you really want to be trading all of those hours just so you can get a mortgage? And that, everything that I said then, this is literally just rent, bills and food. That was not including any fun. That's not including going out with your friends, buying presents. It's not including money for your holiday that I said, which is 2 weeks a year. It's not including your Netflix, your phone bill. It's not including any of that. So in reality, it'll actually take you a lot longer to save up for this deposit. So you can then become part of this system, and then it's got you trapped. I was speaking with one of the old managers that I used to work with in the property game, and he's an absolute legend of a guy, but the system's got him trapped. And you know, his outgoings are £10,000 a month. Can you imagine that? Yes, he's got a family, and he's got a nice house, and he's probably got a nice car. I don't know what car he's got, to be fair, but I know his outgoings are absolutely ridiculous. And you know, he's also one of those people that said to me, Simon, if I could have my time again, I would do exactly what you're doing. And here's the thing. You might say, Simon, how are you going to make money? Big thing that I've got that most people don't have now is time. So I've got time to be creative. I've got time to try new things. I've got time to try and accomplish things outside of the system. And this is another thing that I would say to you guys. The world has moved on. System, I'm 35 years old. The system that I was born into, what you can achieve nowadays is totally different to what you can when I was first born into this system and the opportunity that was at hand. There wasn't even the internet around when I was born into this system that teaches you to get a job so you can get a mortgage and stay inside the system. So one big thing that I would say to you is move with the times, because time has moved on, and I don't think a lot of people have. And I certainly know that the teaching system hasn't, because they want you to stay inside the system to make sure that it keeps working, it keeps moving. Another thing, talking about the manager that I said that I was speaking to, like I said, he's got kids, he's got 2 kids. And I asked him, what are you actually doing this for? Because he's got a ridiculous amount of equity in his house, and he'd have a serious amount more money than I would if he just left, sold his house, and then went to a different lifestyle. And I said, what are you actually doing this for? Why are you working this much? Why are you trying to earn this much money? And he said he doesn't even give a fuck about his big house and stuff like this. So one thing, obviously, he could downsize, but the more important thing than that, you know what he said to me? He said, I'm doing it for my kids. I understand that people think that way, but here's what I said to him. Do you think that your kids would appreciate a father that's earning more money and that's got a bigger house? Or do you think your kids would appreciate a father that has more time to spend with them? And obviously he said, the more time with them. And that's what most fathers want, same as my friends. And that's what most mothers want as well, time with their kids. And then you take a step back and you realise, well, if I'm supposedly doing this for my kids, for my family, and really the lessons in life that are most valuable, teaching them about freedom and what's actually important in life, which is not money, why are you actually doing this? Because the very thing that you think that you're doing it for, that's not the lessons that you want to teach these people anyway. And they would much prefer your time and your attention than your money. And I think a lot of people just fall into this trap because it's what everybody else is doing. I really just wanted to share this with you because I spent a long time going in the wrong direction. I was chasing the wrong things. And really, I think if you actually assess your situation and you think about what it is that you truly want, not necessarily how you want others to see you with your nice house and with your nice car and with your money and your flash clothes and all this kind of stuff. And you think about what is it that you actually want. Because every single person that I've spoken to that was earning a lot of money, they said to me, I wish that I had done what you had done. And the truth is they still can, but they don't know any other way. And it's because what's happened, they've earned more and then their bills have followed. And now they find themselves in a position where you can't really get out of the system because it's worked its magic on you. And you're stuck so deep inside it that unless you're earning 100, 200, 300,000 pounds a year, you can't afford the bills for this massive house. And also what comes along with it is this expectation that when you've lived this lifestyle, you want this lifestyle and you feed off this lifestyle. So my advice to you guys is have a good hard think about what it is that you actually want in life. And if it is freedom, which I would advise, because I'm a lot happier with freedom, the freedom to create, the freedom to be me, the freedom to enjoy the things that don't cost money, I would advise you to have a look at the situation and see what is it that is actually required to achieve that, because you'd be surprised. Obviously not everyone wants to live in a van, I completely understand that, but for me, to be honest with you, I don't really give a fuck where I live. I don't care about a big house and a big car and all this kind of stuff. Those days have come and gone. Now I care about happiness, being free, exploring the world. So I decided to basically make changes in my life in order to achieve that. And that's why I decided, you know what, screw it. I'm moving out of my apartment in London 3 years ago. I'm buying a van. I'm living in my van. Yes, it was difficult. No, I didn't have heating, water or anything like this. And I literally slept in the back of the van for over 18 months with nothing. But that's because I knew I had a bigger purpose. And I knew that I'd get more money in my bank. I wouldn't be spending it on rent. I wouldn't have these ridiculous bills. And then I knew that as soon as I'd built this van and I'd got enough money behind me, it was time to leave the system, get my freedom back and go exploring on the other side of the fence and seeing what I can actually create and achieve on this side. And here's the honest truth. I've recently just started YouTube. Do I think it's going to work? Honestly, I have no idea. One thing that I did decide is I'm going to be my authentic self and I'm going to speak from the heart and I'm going to try and help people based on the mistakes that I've made in life. And here's the truth. If this doesn't work out or I can't create some form of income, I don't need much. Maximum, I need to make £1,000 a month. And then me and my girlfriend can live this lifestyle in our van continuously because it's very cheap to live like this. But if I can't, what I would do, if I had to get a job again, I'd go straight back in to another high paid job. I'd make money inside a year and then I'd bounce and I would try again and I would keep trying until I could not try anymore, because this is the lifestyle that I want to live. And I think a lot of other people in life actually want to live this lifestyle, but they don't think they can because the system teaches you other ways. So anyway, I hope that this has helped people. I hope that this makes you kind of think to what's important, and I hope that this also inevitably helps you find freedom to allow you to spend time with the people that truly want your time and appreciate your time. There's another waffle-free video for you folk. I hope it's helped and I will see you on the next video.